Since September, the lack of interest in finding answers to who was behind the Nord Stream gas explosion has been frankly astounding. This was an act of sabotage, an act of unrivaled vandalism, economically and environmentally, and not a word, no discussion, no questions. Then along comes Seymour Hersh, the world's most acclaimed, distinguished living investigative journalist. He produces a detailed claim that the United States executed this explosion with the help of Norway. Planned months before the invasion, a Norwegian Navy P-8 surveillance plane dropped a sonar buoy on the 26th of September, which triggered explosions planted by US Navy Panama City divers 3 months earlier under a NATO exercise, and still nothing. I don't know what happened, but I want to know. This is a man who doesn't make claims lightly, a man with contacts, and I find it frankly jaw-dropping that the EU is not asking questions as to who is responsible for sabotaging the livelihoods of our citizens. I am ashamed to be a European.
Well said. What's popping, my friends, my family? Welcome back. We are back again. Nick at Night. We have a fantastic episode for you guys. I've been bringing banger guests for you guys. Last week we had Andrew, Zoya's Love, Zoya's Life. Now we have another fantastic guest that's going to be joining us. I can't wait because we're going to talk about the Seymour Hersh bombshell. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on geopolitically. Big shout out to my man, Niko House. Welcome to RBN. Once again, my brother, independent journalist, co-founder MCSC Network. Welcome to RBN, brother.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Well, I guess this first time I've been back really since y'all started, man. It's crazy to see how far y'all came.
Yeah, man, this is a long time coming, man. I'm very excited. I'm glad that we get to have this conversation again. For people who don't know, Niko was like one of the first people who platformed me back when I was really green. Like Niko, I was really green, just started, and I was like, that's back when I was still super shy around the camera. Niko, I was on his old show back in the day, so
yeah. MCSC, we had you on. It was during the election time, like closer towards the doomsday, I guess if you want to call it that, you know. But yeah, close to the end of the election, we had you on. Yeah, you're one of the few black people out there that were brave enough, which sounds crazy now, to say, yeah, I'm not voting for either Joe Biden or Trump.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, no, we got attacked a lot for that, isn't that? Wow, how times have changed, huh?
Yeah, because before RBN, there was Niko House, MCSC Network. You guys doing the damn thing. And I remember the heat that you guys took because you guys was hard no on Jim Crow Joe, the same I was. And it was one of those things I look across, I'm like, man, enemies of my enemies had to be my friends because we both spend the same truth. We stand up for our community. We calling out our oppressors. Like, that's what I see you do. You call out the empire, call out our politicians.
That's it, man. But you know what? Those who are either explicitly or implicitly on the side of the oppressor, or at least benefit from said oppressor, always get the most upset at the people who are being oppressed, who call it out, especially if they have the credentials to legitimize those call outs. So, you know, it's nothing new. I'm still looking for Ben Burgess, though. I'm still looking for him because I debated him like twice on that very issue. And he assured me that Biden was going to be better for workers. And like last time I checked, like Facebook just laid off a bunch, thousands of more people. Walmart just laid off thousands of more people. Small Business Administration is worse off than it's ever been. But hey, you know, when y'all find him, let me know. I got an APB out for him so we can renegotiate this conversation, and maybe he can come over to the bright side. A little late to that party, but yeah.
RBN and Niko, weird examples of what happens, and you see how liberals respond to black men when they step out of line. Like, it's all good, man. You can sound as radical as you want. You can talk about reparations. You can do whatever you want. As long as at the end of the day, you tell people to vote for Democrats, they don't care what you say.
Yeah. Well, that, and as long as you don't actually try to do anything about the issues affecting your community. Like, you can talk about it all you want, though. You can definitely talk about it. That's where it got to stop, though.
Yeah. I told these people to their face in multiple debates, well, I was like, if we support Joe Biden as a quote-unquote left, because I don't consider these people left anymore, but as a quote-unquote left working-class coalition, that will give the Democrats no reason to listen to you guys. In fact, you will give them a mandate to shift to the right, because then they will turn around and say they defeated the socialists, they defeated the youth movement, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. They saw what KC Sunrise did. how much they helped
Yep.
them. So of course he's gonna double down on drill oil permits and fracking. And go ahead, Niko.
When I was talking to JB yesterday, this exact same thing got brought up, where I said, like, if you wanted to do something to hold Joe Biden accountable, if you wanted to prevent what we're seeing right now, that started before the election.
Yes.
Like, that was the time to hold him accountable. The problem is he has zero reason to do, him nor the Democrats they have zero reason to do anything that any of us want. Why? Y'all forgave him for 40 years of fuck shit. He can literally do whatever fuck he feels like it. He don't care. What are you gonna do? Oh man, can you believe 85, 89, 155-year-old man can't get another 4 years potentially? First of all, like, they have control over all the election infrastructure at this point. Like, that's blatantly obvious. So there's that problem. Second of all, who cares? He's 80 and they're gonna find another pawn. Like, it doesn't matter at this point. Y'all have voting for Joe Biden. I just want to be very clear about this. I know that some people were naive, and I'm not upset about that. Like, I get it. It's just the way the world works. You know, you learn from your mistakes, but I just want to be clear so you understand how important this decision is in the future. You have rapidly increased the likelihood of World War III and the world falling into literal Armageddon. Like that, I'm not, and I wish I was being hyperbolic.
They also directly responsible for someone who escalated the climate crisis, something that they cared to claim about.
Yeah, and you
the police state. You had Black Lives Matter celebrating Biden's victory, even though he was on the debate stage in front of millions of people. Like, yeah, I'm gonna fund the police more than Trump, and they were still supporting Joe Biden. And they would look at me crazy because, like, you guys are idiots. You guys are crazy.
He's also a Nazi, so there's that.
Absolutely,
like, literally.
And
they just gave $350 million to Nazis. I mean, NATO is literally a Nazi organization. He is a fucking Nazi. I'm like not a neo-Nazi. He one of them good old-fashioned Nazis. Like, he's a Nazi. He's paying, the Ukrainian Nazis, they call them neo-Nazis, but they're actually the descendants of the original Nazis who got their ass kicked trying to go on the way to Russia and got sent right the fuck back to Germany, but they didn't have nowhere to go. Like, literally, that is what West Ukraine is. And West Ukraine wasn't even a thing until the Nazis got their ass whooped and they got stuck there. Like, he is giving money to their descendants. Like, he's a Nazi. And when I was telling people this, they were like, "You're just being too dramatic." What do they call a reductionist? I believe is what they called me.
Yes.
And a neo-Nazi, ironically, y'all voted for a Nazi. That's crazy. Every single person who called me a neo-Nazi, they voted for a Nazi.
Make it make sense.
Like it was projection. It's almost like it was projection, huh?
Someone make it make sense. Because I agree with you. Because how many times he had to show his ass? Like, it's not like a one-time thing. I mean, this is Jim Crow Joe, Crime Bill Joe, Segregation Joe. And now he's funding Nazis. Like, okay, how many times he had to do some white supremacist shit before we can call him a white supremacist without making people flinch? Right?
Well, the reality is, and it sucks to admit it, but I tell people this all the time. I said, he can get away with white supremacist shit because we live in the country that is foundationalized in white supremacy. Like, it is what it is. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still talk about it. I still fight against it. But, like, I'm no longer surprised by it, impressed by it, taken aback by it. People are like, for example, didn't we just watch Piers Morgan, like, go down in flames, like, a couple of years ago, if not a year ago? Because he was spewing racist bullshit on television? That's why he doesn't have a show anymore, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
it was like had something to do with the Queen dying, and basically he was calling out all the Caribbean diaspora that didn't, they didn't like the Queen for good reason, because she was a racist bitch and an imperialist, and he just started telling the truth about how he felt. Guess what he was just doing? Interviewing Ron DeSantis. If that were you or I,
yes,
we get one chance to even perceivedly be egregiously wrong in the eyes of quote unquote cancel culture. But cancel culture genuinely only applies to those who are fighting for the right causes. The only person who has ever been quote unquote canceled that's alive, at least for now, is Julian Assange.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's the only person, like, that's alive. The other people, there have been others who've been canceled. They've been canceled permanently, and they're trying to do the same to Assange. That is who cancel culture applies to. That's what gets me pissed off whenever I hear the right. Oh man, cancel culture, it only affects the right. Bro, y'all ain't being canceled.
Bro,
they have not been canceled. The right is more popular than they've ever been, which everyone could have predicted because Joe Biden gives them plenty of things to talk about. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, and liberals, they don't really cancel the right. Once again, they're their biggest contributor. I'm sure every day some conservative commentator wakes up and thanks a Democrat. I swear to God, bro. Like, just gets up and prays to the to the donkey. Because he's like, y'all keep making me rich. Please, I'm trying to get me a condo in Miami too, bro. I'll be seeing everybody move to Miami, trying to get me, like, for real. But the liberals will then try to cancel, you know, they'll attempt to do these cancellations of even people within their own party or within their own ideology, but it never lasts. They just give them some crazy redemption story and they come right back. And it's especially given issues of racism or sexism or, I don't know, Nazism or the revitalization of George Bush and his image. They even revitalize the people they swear to God they will never revitalize. Because you know, Republicans are supposedly irredeemable in the eyes of Democrats unless they're an imperialist. Speaking of which, because I don't want us to get too far off base. Speaking of Democrats and Republicans getting along, you know this Nord Stream pipeline situation, Nick.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Whenever I want to like figure out if I'm on the right side of history, I got a foolproof plan. I look up two things. I look up an article at CNN talking about it. I look up an article in the New York Times talking about it, and I look up an article at Fox News talking about it. And if they all say the same thing, then I know it's a motherfucking lie. It's that simple.
Yes.
And on this Nord Stream pipeline, you know what they said? They said, Fox News, New York Times, and CNN. Hey, the White House said it was pro-Ukrainian saboteurs. Oh, yeah. They are, you know what? For the first time, maybe ever, they are right about one thing. They were not lying about it being pro-Ukrainian saboteurs. They were right about that because it was U.S. Navy, and the U.S. is very pro-Ukraine. So technically speaking, I guess we got to give them some credit because that's more truth than you would usually tell in these situations. But they all agree that it was some random, ultra efficient pro-Ukrainian saboteurs. I wish people could understand how intricate an operation like that would have to be, the equipment that you would have to have. If they were pro-Ukrainian saboteurs, they would have had to have gotten the equipment from the United States or NATO anyway.
It's so obvious. And now the people have no curiosity over this event. Where's the ICC on this? This is Biden committing a major act of eco-terrorism.
Biden isn't black.
Yeah.
Or African or brown.
Or enemy of the
empire.
In general.
Yeah. I know Putin, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I know Putin was like, y'all think that I'm about to... Well, all right. See ya. I'll meet y'all there. Y'all go ahead and get there. I'll meet y'all there in a couple of hours. But what are they gonna do? What's the ICC gonna do to Putin?
He already laughed at it the same way the United States laughed at it. You had John Bolton that was like, bro, I fucking wish they would. We will prosecute, we will kill these people if they try to go after United States citizens. And now the same empire is like, oh, let's prosecute Vladimir Putin for war crimes. I'm like, all right, let's go ahead, open those floodgates. Open those. Let's
the
open
Bolton thing that didn't get no press though. The Bolton issue didn't get any press. George Bush being brought up by the ICC, it was just briefly mentioned that he could come up on it, and I think it was another group of countries that was going to bring him up on war crimes, and
Israel too.
Didn't budge. But when it was Putin, ICC, bro, I don't remember the last time I heard the letters ICC. It was because they know they can't do anything to Putin, but it was there to just create this negative feedback loop that they've been putting out there about Putin. I need people to understand historically what this resembles. So I don't know if y'all are aware of this. World War I, the reason that we were in it was a lie. If I ask all of you, what's the reason that World War I started? If you're raised in America, if you were in a part of the American public school system, you're going to say, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand on fucking cue every single time. It is bizarre as shit, right? Yes, because that's how propaganda works, bro. I've not asked a single person, Nick, hey, how did World War I start? And they not answer that specific thing. And I say, oh, who's that? They go, I don't know. So is it somebody's son? This is somebody's like it's fucking Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. I said, was Austria like the main oil supplier of some for somebody? No. So why would his assassination cause a world war? And nobody can answer because it's like they weren't that good at propaganda back then, but they were good enough. And they just have you focus so much on World War II that you never really ask how World War I got started. Yeah. And that's because World War I was a lie, because the United States and England were a little terrified because Germany and Russia were destroying them in the Industrial Revolution. And the Kaiser and the Tsar were cousins. So they had every reason to work together. And so you have to take down these two major superpowers. And the only reason, and UK couldn't do it by themselves because they were the ones more threatened than the US were, obviously, because we had our own thing going on. But you have to bring the US back into the fold in order to make that happen, because you're not beating either of those countries by yourself.
Yeah.
So what do? You lie about everything. Everything that happened, they blamed it on Germany. Everything. The Lusitania, you can look this up. The CIA released documents admitting that the Lusitania was not a passenger ship. In fact, it was a UK military cargo ship, and that's why it was bombed. But that was the reason that was used to bring the United States into the war, because there was a claim that there were U.S. passengers on there, and there were not. So we created the lie. Think about it like this, Nick. We created the lie that started World War I, right? Now, we sanctioned them. We destroyed their military. We economically, metaphorically, and physically beat them into a pulp based off of lies that we created, which then led to who taking power? Hitler.
Always the perfect enemy, right?
Which, by the way, somehow was able, even though they had sanctions on sanctions on sanctions on sanctions, couldn't do anything with the previous government and previous administrations. But the moment Hitler comes to power, he has access to the manufacturers, factories, money. They're throwing the Olympics. Even though Germany was sanctioned, the moment that Hitler gets power, he wins the bid for the Olympics. And we find out GE, GM, GNC, Ford, all these companies were giving money to Hitler via Nazi subsidiaries and manufacturing his weapons and tanks and trucks and all that good stuff. So the moral of the story is, we had this Russia situation. Why do you think the first country, as soon as World War II is up, they were like, no, can't be Henry Wallace. Not Henry Wallace. Oh, Jesus. Was it Henry Wallace? Yeah, it was Henry Wallace, right? The one that got cheated at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, right? Am I crazy? Yeah, it's Henry Wallace. Remember, it was FDR's former vice president.
Try to help us out. If anyone try to know.
I feel like it was Henry Wallace. Y'all know I've been out of the game for a little bit.
Yeah, Bill Bradley said yes, Henry Wallace.
Bet. Cool. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you. Get cheated at the convention. Think about it, Nick. What happened? So we have 3 years of administrations of FDR where everybody knows, okay, the vice president's going to take over. Oh, we ready for that. You're talking about a critically acclaimed, worldwide, internationally loved socialist? Who's like, yeah, man, fuck the apartheid South Africa. We ain't fucking with that. As soon as I'm in this bitch, we take any all that. All that's getting thrown out. Yeah, he got to go. Can't have him. He loses. They get the dumbest motherfucker they can find with the biggest ego and the smallest dick named Truman. Put him in power. What do we get, Nick? The atomic bombs. Because Japan was one of our biggest enemies because of the oil industry. And then we get the Yalta Conference lie that the Cold War is predicated on. They said that Stalin was lying about the Yalta Conference, and Winston Churchill was the one who confirmed that lie. Then later admitted that he lied about the lie. But that led to what? The Cold War. Because the goal was always to immediately go after Russia, because they failed the first time because they tried to prop up. They got the Bolshevik Revolution was funded by the UK and the US because they knew that you cannot be a united Russia. And they tried to slip in Trotsky's little bitch ass to pretend socialist. Yeah. And then they weren't expecting some colored kid with no money, Stalin, to just slip in there and just be a smooth talking motherfucker and keep Russia united. So they had to manufacture an entirely new conflict just to get Stalin. And they lied. They said, actually, the CIA, this is once again. And I know this sounds convoluted, y'all, but this is important to understand about what we're seeing right now, because since we're on the cusp of World War III, figure I might as well give y'all, Star Wars Episode 1 and Star Wars Episode 2 before we get to Star Wars Episode 3.
You preaching, man. You preaching, my brother. Like, I'm loving this.
So they assassinate Stalin under the guise of that he's quote unquote this super crazy dictator guy, which, by the way, FDR and Stalin were friends. Like, they liked each other. FDR is actually very complimentary of Stalin. But they assassinate Stalin, but later on they claim, or they release the documents, once again, CIA, that Stalin was not a dictator, that the events surrounding the quote-unquote Soviet Union or the communist regime were greatly exaggerated for the national security interests of the United States. And they say that because people don't know how the breakdown of Russia happened, or the Soviet Union specifically happened, or the Balkanization rather, it was because
the Western story
of the intelligentsia, huh?
I said they know the Western story, but go ahead, man. You killing it.
Yeah, the Western story, right? They always say the intelligentsia. It was a movement of academics and celebrities from within Russia. Sound familiar? That were spreading propaganda or anti-quote unquote Soviet Union anti-communist propaganda. Guess what? The CIA also came out and said, what? Y'all go ahead and take a guess. Yeah, they was working for us the whole time. It wasn't a natural movement. There was nothing natural about it. It was funded and facilitated by the US, because that's what we do, which led to the balkanization of Russia, which was always the goal. And you know how it was the goal? Because they fucking tried to do it everywhere else. What did they do to North and South Korea? Kept them separate. What did they try to do to Vietnam? They lost. They lost because they were trying to do the same thing, but we lost in Vietnam. That's why they never stayed North and South Korea. North and South Vietnam. Now they're one Vietnam.
People never talk about the genocide that we sponsored in Korea, like the millions of people that we killed. But go ahead, like people don't. That's something that needs to be talked about more. Like people wonder why the DPRK is the way it is. They are still suffering trauma from millions dead because the United States. Go ahead, Niko.
While they were the reason why they're suffering from trauma from millions dead is because they were the fastest growing economy in the world under straight communism. And US was like, oh, nope, can't have that shit. Cut that shit out now.
Yep.
Like, and of course, what do we do? Put a demilitarization zone, the DMZ, right there between North and South Korea. All right. And where is North Korea conveniently located? Right below Russia, for those of you who don't know geography. Where is Ukraine located? Obviously, right below Russia, for those of you who don't know geography. Why do y'all think we have permanent and constant beef with Turkey? Obviously, it's because of its proximity to the Middle East, but also because of its proximity to Russia. Why do y'all think, outside of oil, like beyond oil, why do y'all think we're so obsessed with occupying very specific countries in the Middle East? People have no idea how close that Middle East is in proximity to Eastern Europe, which is obviously where Russia is. We have been preparing, NATO has been preparing to destroy Russia since before your great-great-grandfather was born. Well, not NATO, but the West in general. But NATO.
They wonder why Russia reacts the way they do. They wonder why Russia reacts the way they do. Like, they don't know this stuff. But go ahead, Niko. They got
you're absolutely, bro. Of course, you don't. So y'all don't think that the U.S.'s official narrative about Stalin dying was that he died of a heart attack. No. The KGB, everybody for some reason believed that KGB was created and then the CIA was created to combat it. Bro, the CIA was created, Stalin was assassinated and the KGB was created right after. Because they knew, they're not stupid. He got poisoned. You know how you can almost guarantee that he got poisoned because you know what they always say? The U.S., every time they want to accuse Russia of something, because the U.S. is known for projecting, they accuse them all of, they poisoned him. This guy got poisoned. They got poisoned. Russia poisoned him. They poisoned. Like, bro. Because the U.S.
without evidence.
Yes.
They say stuff like Putin throws people out of skyscrapers without a shred of evidence. They say it with a straight face, and you look into it, there's no evidence of it at all. They just say it.
Have a whole segment on news for an hour about how Putin threw somebody out of a skyscraper. We saw him. Somebody said they saw the shadow. Well, who said it? Look, we're not going to get into the details about that. Let's not sandbag here. Okay, let's not sandbag. But it's important to understand. It's important to understand the concept, the grand scheme, because these events like the Nord Stream pipe, like that is a terrorist act that was basically done to make sure that those who may be getting wet feet in Europe stay on course, and obviously to drum up support where there is none for NATO continuing to help with the conflict with Ukraine. Like, you get your gas prices raised, you get your electricity bills raised, and what do you say? It's because of that war in Ukraine. That's what happened with us. And if we beat Russia, then those prices come down. You know what I've watched, Nick? I know you've seen about everything Star Wars, right?
Big shout out to Black in the Empire. Big shout out, my brother. Thank you for $5. Go ahead, Niko.
Have you seen Star Wars? You know, I go back and watch Star Wars every year.
Fan, but I've seen it. Everyone's seen like and know Star Wars and some.
So I'm a true blue Star Wars fan. Like, they piss me off all the time because they literally miss opportunity on opportunity. Yeah, right. But you know, they ain't no Dragon Ball. You know, they ain't no Marvel. But the best thing that they had ever done was come out with a cartoon called Clone Wars, which is obviously supposed to be a rendition of the events that happened between episode 2 and episode 3. And you like, damn, bro, how the hell can Anakin just flip like this? This is out of nowhere. How did they not see this coming? What Clone Wars shows you is how there was a plan put together literally 15, 20 years in advance by, Lord Sidious, the emperor, quote unquote. He saw Anakin when he was 11, 12 years old, but he had Darth Maul, who he had been training before that, because he was like, I know I want this guy. He's cool, but I need somebody who's going to be a little bit stronger, a little bit younger, because I got a long game. And this man became senator of Naboo. When Queen Amidala was Queen Amidala, he was already a senator of Naboo with plans of being the chancellor. He already made a plan with Darth Tyrannus or Count Dooku to create the clones and create these droids and fake a fucking war just so he can use that war as an excuse to gain power. And they both were in on it the entire time. And it literally shows you exactly, and he comes up with these lies, and they got the banking clan involved. The banking clans, they just cut checks for everybody. They get paper from everybody. The clones, the people who create the soldiers, they were able to use their fucking clout to buy their way into the Senate. And then, as most of you all remember, by the time Anakin does turn to the dark side, which, by the way, the Jedi's aided and abetted in every fucking way. If you watch the 3 movies and the show, it was like, of course he fucking became damn dark. He's like, y'all, I don't know what this dude over here got, but he said he can at least save my babies and my wife. Y'all motherfuckers got my Padawan excommunicated because y'all believe the Empire unconditionally, and you let them convince the Jedi Council, who's supposed to be this all-knowing, all-seeing, all-wise. Yeah, bullshit. They're supposed to be that, but there's so many times in the show where they have people who become radical, even Jedis, because they said the Jedis have become the radical warmongers they swore they were. Who that sound like? The Democrats, the supposed heroes, right?
Yeah,
they have Jedi outcasts because they leave the Jedi Order because they're like, y'all full of shit.
Big shout out to our meeting, my friend Kid over there. Go ahead, Niko.
Nah, you good. He said Palpatine did nothing wrong. Now, Palpatine, he's just as guilty. He was wrong because it was all for him, and he wanted to quote unquote maintain order, even if that meant killing people. He wanted the centralization of power, but the only reason he was able to get his centralization of power is because the Senate was just as guilty of wanting to centralize power. They gave way too much power to the Jedi, and then the Jedi didn't, because they didn't actually have the foresight that they swore to God that they did. They believe that the Force worked for them, even though they they have all these ethos and claiming that they don't. It's supposed to be just the general Force, but no, they claim that they believe truly that the Force would reveal the dark side, and the Force is constantly the entire time trying to show you, hey y'all, dark side here, hey, dark side here, y'all, hey man. Y'all shouldn't kick his Padawan out because that's going to be like the only thing that stops him from going to the dark side after his wife died. Hey, oh, shit. Missed that bus too. Well, okay, we got one more time, guys. Just one more time. Just give him a fair trial and maybe Anakin won't fucking completely flip the script on y'all. Oh, shit. Well, see y'all next time. I'll see y'all in about 3 generations because y'all just literally missed the fucking boat for the last 20 years. You had 20 years to get this right. And that is what I see. I go back and watch it every single year, everything, just so I can see how it relates to the United States. And it is literally on point, minus all the weird plot holes and, and missed opportunities. Yes. But the overall message is like so consistent. And I think that Lucas, that was more important to him than like the details, because like back then details in movies really weren't all that important as long as you had the grand message. And if you just go back and watch it from the perspective of Anakin said, fuck it, finally, I'm just gonna do what everybody else is doing and I'm gonna do me. Because that's what the Empire does. It individualizes you. That's what it does. And then they use you to their advantage until you're not useful anymore.
Now, my man Niko out here preaching. Now, my brother Tony knows everything about Star Wars. He always relates this shit to what nonsense does. I know a little bit about it, but I 100% see the connections. Now, I want to get to our main story. I mean, that was just a warm up. You know, me and Niko, we can go all day. Hope you guys enjoying the stream. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. I got a link. Erin been working really hard on our thumbnail, so we asked if you guys want to help us pay her fair labor value. You can support us in the description there. And also, a lot of people have been asking this as well. Niko, where can they find you at? Because a lot of people ask about what your channel, what you're doing right now. I saw you on Telegram as well, but go ahead, Niko.
Yeah, definitely. I have a Telegram channel. You can find my Twitter page, and I'm actually starting a podcast on. So I'm part of a new media company that is called Hotspot Media, where I'm a content curator and obviously a creator, and I actually help manage the other content creators. And For the People podcast will be on that YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. And it's basically going to be a podcast talking about everything and trying to help people see how it is all interconnected, whether it be the labor struggle right now that we're seeing with the good brother Lamar Jackson, and how that relates to politics, right? Everything that they're talking about with that is a labor struggle. Lamar Jackson is a black man who is the best, damn near the best, or the first or second best of what he does right now, indisputably. And they're literally telling lies, and people are like, yeah, it's cool, we'll believe it. Like, that's politics, right? You have people in media who like that get smeared, like Russell Brand, who's been on pretty much ostensibly a leftist since I can remember, and he's getting smeared as being alt-right. Why? Because he's anti-Ukraine war and anti
people who support the cops, people who support increased police funding, increased military funding. These people are literally Zionists. They're like, Russell Brand's a right-winger. What? You see your policies?
Exactly. So the goal is to, I of course I'm gonna still talk politics because that's what I do. But the goal is to show that everything is politics and to help people see the patterns throughout, whether it be, the election and how people will lie, manipulate to get the desired outcomes there, sports, pop culture, how all of it is used at this point to manipulate us. I mean, we can look at CAA, I remember we talked about that before, like CAA, bro, that they literally are the biggest political organization in the world. And they're the most influential. If you don't do what they tell you to do, why do y'all think these like The Rock and these other celebrities come out of nowhere and they were all behind Biden? Because Biden is signed to CAA too. Biden, Kamala, everybody in mainstream media, basically.
It goes deep, man. It's deep.
It goes deep. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it's so important to understand that when you hear somebody doing a little tip tap dance on a sports show that your favorite morning sports show, like because it gets sometimes it gets political, and all of a sudden you're like, yo, that kind of sounded a little bit out of character. Yeah, you got the phone call. Hey, I know what you're gonna say. You better say this instead. Or you
see when he came to he was on Sean Handy's show. He came to the Cowboys owner defense. I don't follow NFL. I remember JB and Sabby covered it when the whole it was like a big scandal with the Cowboys owner, and then Stephen A. Smith was like,
"Oh yeah, you talking about?" Yeah. Oh yeah, when he got caught with Snyder, because the Reds, Washington football team, or the Commanders now, He was holding some info because he said, y'all try to get me fired for being racist. I got something for y'all. He dropped that shit about his boy Jimmy, little Jimmy Jones, and boom, he's right there where the protest. You remember the school protest when they were going in, black people, the students were coming in, and they were like, yeah, you N-words, and they got Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones looking like this. That's crazy, man. Yeah, y'all better get them. Y'all better get them out. I can't believe they up in here like this. And you know what? All mainstream media did, they whitewashed it.
Yeah.
And put Stephen A up there.
And the Negro capitalists got the call. The Negro capitalists in the media, who we tell you guys not to trust, they value their class interests first. And Stephen A. Smith came out and he was like, he did this big rant. Look it up. It's hilariously fucking dishonest. Because
you mean when he starts yelling because he knows?
He's like, oh my God, this is cancel culture. Oh my God, I know him. I know his. This is a great man that you guys try and ruin. My buddy, Jim. Meanwhile, God forbid a black athlete makes a mistake, and this boy Stephen A. Smith is all over their ass. All over their ass.
Or whenever Kendrick Perkins
on that, because JB and Savvy, they cover a lot of pop culture and sports stuff like that. It was a great episode. Go ahead, Niko.
Did you hear about the beef between Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick over the MVP conversation?
What happened
there? Kendrick Perkins, former Celtics champion, he's a commentator now, and JJ Redick, Duke guy, whatever. He's a commentator too. I actually really like JJ Redick, but this was a weird situation where the MVP race got very controversial because Nikola Jokic is about to win his third MVP, and it was already disputable that he won the first two. It was already weird that he won the first two, and he was about to be one of the only three people to have ever won MVP back to back to back. And everybody else who had done that, which is I think only two, have gotten a championship in between that. So based on all the metrics and everything, other than the fact that Nikola Jokic had like a triple-double, he was averaging a triple-double for the majority of the year. He has a lot of advanced metrics, which was cool. Not saying that he wasn't a candidate, not saying that he's not a great player. I love Nikola Jokic. But there's two other players called Giannis Antetokounmpo and Joel Embiid on the other side, who one of them, Giannis, is leaps and bounds better on the defensive end, like literally the best defender in the NBA, has the majority of the same stats as Jokic, but has the number one seed in the entire NBA again. And then Embiid was playing out of his mind, and his team's been flipping between 2 and 3 seed, and leaps and bounds better than Jokic. And so people start figuring out, like, hold up, didn't y'all say that Giannis, the African refugee kid, he didn't win a championship? Not that it was his fault. He just didn't win a championship after his first 2 MVPs. The third year, y'all didn't give him a single vote. Derrick Rose got a vote. Derrick Rose wasn't even playing the majority of that year. Just because everybody loved Derrick Rose, okay? Didn't get a vote. Didn't get a vote for Defensive Player of the Year, even though everybody on TV would tell you straight up, he's the best defensive player in the NBA, hands down, not even close. Why? Because of this. So there's another stat that eventually ended up coming out that any single time that there has been an elite player where a white player has gotten one single first place vote for MVP, he wins it every single time.
Come on. Man, see, you need to hook up. You need to hook up with CJ, because CJ, especially with connecting NBA with politics, boy, that show will be a banger. I know you got a new show. You're gonna talk about all this stuff.
Yeah,
I highly recommend you.
I love those conversations because I be getting heated, and my people be like, "Yo, why are you so pissed?" I'm like, "Bro, y'all don't see the labor struggle, bro. Y'all don't see the labor because but believe it or not, that affects bottom lines. It affects your brand. And once again, Jokic is a phenomenal player, and he's not even asking for this. He's just playing basketball and trying to get better. Like, that's not his fault. But JJ flipped on Kendrick. You're calling everybody racist, and Kendrick didn't say that. He said, "No, there's a bias." And there's a bias that does hit both ways in the NBA. Yeah, it did take a little bit longer for a white boy to get the seal of approval from us. Yes, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, it's 100% true. But once you're certified, we kind of give you a lot of leeway. Like Dirk, when he ain't playing no defense, we're like, man, shit, that's Dirk though. That's Dirk. That's big Dirk. We good. But eventually, even Dirk Nowitzki had to play defense before he won an MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like, it swings both ways. When we fuck with you. And yeah, it takes you a little bit longer. And you got to go through the same steps as a black person does in society before you can get your just desserts. You got to work twice as hard, probably do twice as well, and be twice as consistent and you probably, the moment you fall off, we probably gonna come at you. Yeah, that happens. Okay, it's the NBA. Get over it. You want to go play fucking baseball or golf or something. Like that's like, it is what it is. All right. But it cuts the other way too. Whereas the moment that these unathletic, short, little dick, dreams and aspirations, but never achieving having as media members get the opportunity to vote for somebody who's also unathletic, uninspiring, but good enough to give it to these guys, these freak Nigerian athletes over here. Yeah, we're giving him that every time, bro. They gave Steve Nash an MVP over Kobe, then they gave Steve Nash another MVP over Shaq. The world still has never forgiven.
See, when you launch your new show, you definitely had to bring CJ on when you guys talk about winning the NBA, because he had he did a show with Chuck Moody when it's like CJ. That's exactly what he does. This is right up his alley. Now we have 20 minutes left, so I want to shift to the Nord Stream story. I'm gonna show you guys Seymour Hersh groundbreaking story, but I do want to show this first because this is why it's hilarious. And I brought this up because you mentioned this as well. We were talking about the ICC. It's hilarious the United States is in the media is applauding this ICC ruling over Putin, despite the fact that ICC found and did an investigation to American police, and they found that they constitute war crimes and genocide against Black Americans. I reported on that. How many people you guys seen report on that? Not the mainstream media, not the boutique left. The ICC also found the ICC found that Israel committed multiple war crimes, complicit with ethnic genocide. Meanwhile, the same people were 100% for funding the Israel apartheid state more. That's why I'm more than happy that this happened, because it just opened discourse up. I tell you guys,
I got me some new show topics, boy.
Go ahead,
got me some new show topics. Good, bet. Appreciate you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is perfect, because I'm like, okay, you guys want to charge Putin for ICC war crimes? Let's talk about Israel. Let's talk about the American police. Let's talk about Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe. Let's talk about Zelensky as well.
Yep. Please, let's keep. I mean, literally Nazis. I don't know how many times. I hate to be so bleak, but the Nazis won. Yeah,
they did.
Look at the foreign policy, and it tells you everything you need to know about it. The Nazis won. It's sad to say that, because you're like, it went from man, okay, well, maybe we're not the good guys, but at least we're not Nazis. We can't even say that no more, Nick. We can't even say that no more. Anyway, sorry about that.
I cannot get over the fact that liberals went from saying punch a Nazi, and now they 100% for the Azov Battalion. I'll explain this to my friend, because I give him some grace because he don't follow politics that much. Because I remember he saw what I was talking about. He's like, man, I heard that that Azov Battalion stuff. Well, I don't know why you repeating the fact that they're Nazis. I had to explain to him. I was like, dude, you guys understand the crimes that they have committed? They was ethnically purging Romanis. I mean, these people are on video torturing people who show support for Russia, people who consider themselves ethnically Russian. They banned the Russian language. When you look at the war crimes, the people they tortured, the people they killed, there were people who that used to assimilate against the Western Kiev regime. And then whenever people show political resistance, the Nazis use political violence to stifle them. So I'm like, I was telling him, he understood. He actually changed his mind afterwards, because he was coming in good faith. He was a victim of propaganda. And I was like, you understand what they are doing. You can be upset at Russia all you want, but you cannot whitewash these criminals. And what the West is doing is whitewashing psychopaths that literally worship and praise Stefan Bandera. You can, as a principle, as a human principle, we cannot stand for these Nazis being whitewashed. And now there's Nazis marching down the street in Australia, and people wondering why these Nazis and white supremacist groups have been emboldened. You had Azov Battalion groups that have been bragging. They was called bragging on the social media. They was like, dude, the West is financing our goal of purging the ethnic Russians and Romanis. This is giant for our message. It's giant for the Aryan people. We got the support of the military-industrial complex. So now you got Nazis all over the world. You got Nazis in Brazil. All these people are emboldened by what the West has done, right?
Yes, this is facts. And so, just for example, it's crazy how much people don't know just how deep this Nazi shit goes.
Yes.
Because people first of all, I'm not a Messi fan. I think he's horribly overrated.
My friend would hate you for saying that.
That's fine. I would show him the tape, and side by side Cristiano and Messi, because people don't watch Cristiano. More people watch Messi because, and the reason that Messi gets all the love, like they needed a new white hope. And Portugal is the bastard child of Europe, like Brazil is the bastard child of South America and Latin America, because Portuguese is considered to be the bastard language because it's actually mostly comprised of and made by a lot of Arabic people, which is the same reason that Barcelona is not well liked, obviously, by Spain. It's a whole different conversation. Anyway, so fast forward, Messi didn't even live in Argentina the majority of his life. So there's that. He actually got babied and carried and got every elite black striker, and including Ronaldinho, who became depressed because all of the fucking racism he experienced by Barcelona fans. Eto'o, Neymar don't like him. Fucking Mbappe don't like him. Still, he plays for his team. He got everybody kicked off. Everybody. He got Eto'o kicked out of, not literally kicked out, but they didn't re-sign him in his prime while he was in Barcelona. And he was going off. Argentina used to be like 60-70% black people, y'all. Do y'all know that? Argentina is basically the Indiana of South America now. Like literally, it's almost exclusively white now. Why do you think that is? If you ever watch, I think it was X-Men First Class. Yeah, X-Men First Class. They actually have a scene where Magneto goes, because the Nazis are the ones who killed his family and experimented on him. He goes to Argentina to find the Nazis who killed his mom. Like the Italian fascists and the German Nazis got sent there, and the U.S. helped facilitate it. Like
See,
this is like this is history. Like you can Google this shit.
When you bring up X-Men,
we keep ignoring Seymour. Look, let's get to Seymour Hersh, but we can talk. We can literally just go for 3 hours talking about all the ways that the U.S. helps Nazis.
Yeah, but we gotta do this more often, man. We gotta do this more often because we can do this all night. I'm gonna get to the story here because this is another massive bombshell dropped by Seymour Hersh, and essentially you had the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, he was caught supporting the Biden administration to help hide the data on the sabotage of the Nord Stream pipeline. So do you guys understand what a massive betrayal and treason that is for the German people? Because when the Nord Stream pipeline happened, sanctioned the United States was trending on Germany. Because it was obvious who did it. Because you had Anthony Blinken, you have Joe Biden, you have many State Department officials that would say, yeah, this would be in our great interest if something happened in Nord Stream. That would be our first go-to.
They specifically said it was a national security matter if Russia was able to finish that pipeline. They literally said that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what national security means. It means go blow that shit up.
That's why it was obvious to everyone, because basic common sense, you look at motive. Who the fuck did a crime? Look at motive first, right, Niko? That makes sense. What is the motive for pulling the blow its own goddamn pipeline versus the United States, who said multiple times they want to do that? Like,
yeah, I mean, the people who are doing exercises there. Like, who's been near there? I don't know, the motherfuckers that literally returned to the scene of the crime, I guess. Like, literally, they returned back to the scene. It's crazy. And the coordination of it, making sure to not use the Navy SEALs, making sure to not use special forces, because you have to actually report those actions to Congress, but instead using the regular Navy, because that could just be a regular exercise. And we didn't have to report what we did in like basic things that we did on a day-to-day basis in the military when I was in the Army to Congress, if you're stationed there. So they were, and so now everybody in Congress has plausible deniability. Like, that is insanity.
It is.
The fact that we have to even discuss this, like, without Joe Biden's head being put on a pike right now is insane. The German, like, come on, bro. Like, everybody knows it. Everybody knows the U.S. is guilty.
Everyone.
And no one is doing a single thing about it. Oh, no, excuse me. Russia is. My apologies. Russia's doing a lot of shit about it. Russia's about to bankrupt the U.S.
That's some gangster ass shit. I told you guys, no one more gangster than the United States government. They obviously killed someone, but no one's looking at the crime scene because they know what will happen if you tell on the Don. That's literally exactly what's happening here.
I suggest y'all just learn another language, right? preferably
I need to learn.
Portuguese, Hindu or Urdu, Mandarin, not Cantonese, too close to the empire. Mandarin specifically, and what's the S again? Oh, North Korea, Korean, but not South Korean. They got so many
Mandarin is hard as fuck though.
Korean can be hard, but you can learn enough to converse, and you just gotta move there. You'll learn it. Yeah, man. So yeah, I would learn one of those 4 or 5 languages and move there with a quickness, because this shit's coming down, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Like this collapse, we're not going to recover from. We haven't even recovered from 2008. The motherfuckers look at you in the face. We all watched the base collapse right in front of us, and they're like, "Yo, shit, everything cool? What y'all talking about?" What? And mind you, Nick, as I'm watching that shit, watching Star Wars while I will do my work, and I hear there's a conspiracy in the background. It's like, man, there's a conspiracy by the banking clan to hide the fact that they're collapsing. I like, yo, you can't make this shit up. The universe be just snitching. Like they will, when you are in a situation where people, the truth is right there, and they will literally tell you, no, it's all good. Like, why? You got it. I know people, they don't want to abandon their country, and you shouldn't abandon your country. I'm not saying do all that, but like, you do have to prepare. I will say that. You have to prepare for what's coming. Empires fall. Like, empires fall. That is.
There are people that like deadly patriotic that ready to sink with this shit. Well, what do you think about the fact? What do you think about this thought though? To slightly push back for people who will say that it's somewhat our duty to stay and help like your family, friends for better change. Because I said the same thing.
I would say if you're a black person, like fuck that noise. Help them pack up and leave the fucking country.
That's fair. That's fair.
Now, if you're a white person, then hey man, it might be a duty that y'all created this motherfucking mess, or at least you got some. You didn't get stopped. Like, you didn't get redlined, okay? Like, y'all got some problems, but y'all problems only came from being poor. Like, I wish the biggest problem in my life was not having money. Like, that would be fucking amazing. Like, so maybe
I'm torn on that, because I'm like, bro, I would leave this motherfucker in an instant. I'm not attached to this slave owning dirt, but
hey, look,
I have a ton of family.
Come on, bro. We here. We waiting for. I mean, I'll show y'all a picture of the beach right now, man. It's like Rio is beautiful. It is beautiful, and they love black people. I met.
Oh no, I want to go Brazil. I used to train capoeira. in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Oh, bro, you don't love Brazil. Yeah, man. Every damn block is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu studio. Like,
say that again.
Every 2 blocks is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu studio. You'd love it, man.
I know, dude. This shit pissed because Kansas City jiu-jitsu is not the greatest, because while I used to train at Brazil Academy, they like moved like 30 miles northwest, like hella far west. I'm like, I can't even train up there no more. That's why I used to train. Now you got all these, let me just say, American trained jiu-jitsu people, because I train with a black belt. I train with Ninja. I'm blanking his last name. He's
I remember you said that.
Yeah. I trained with him and a ton of high-level black belts who used to fuck me up, because I wasn't black belt level. I could hang with like a purple belt and brown belt, but black belts is next level shit, guys. I'm more of a striker. I come from boxing, but I love jiu-jitsu. I love capoeira, and I train with because Kansas City has a surprisingly large amount of Brazilian population. So that was on my first checklist to learn Portuguese. I told the story before. I used to date this Brazilian girl I met at the gym. Then we had a harsh breakup, and I was salty as hell. So I stopped.
Maybe Brazilian, but she's still Latina.
But anyway, let's get off. Let's get to the story. Let's get to the story. Let's finish the story and we can get out of here.
Yeah.
I'll just read the just a little bit of it, because this is a long story. I really recommend you guys read it. I'll just skim the first part so you guys see what he's saying, because it's pretty much talking about the media blackout. He said, it's been 6 weeks since I published a report based on anonymous sourcing, naming President Joe Biden as the official who ordered the mysterious destruction last December of Nord Stream 2. The story gained traction in Germany and Western Europe. This is when it was sanctioned the United States was trending in Germany, but was subject to near media blackout in the United States. Now, press aides, I'm skipping here because I don't want to read the big parts here. Check out the whole article. Press aides for the White House and Central Intelligence Agency has consistently denied that America was responsible for exploding the pipeline. And I'm gonna skip to this part right here, because this is a great tweet that sums this part up here. There were certain elements in the CIA that was asked to prepare a cover story in collaboration with German intelligence that will provide the American and German press with an alternative facts for the destruction of
alternative facts.
And one last thing I'm gonna say, I'll pass it to you for your final thoughts on this. You gotta notice that the NATO left and the people who support Joe Biden, they've been dead silent on this story. Dead silent. What does that say? You had Rashida Tlaib, who was called out for this to her face. What do you think about the reporting of the Nord Stream pipeline? And she said, no, I'm not taking that question. What does that say about these people who support the United States agenda? That they won't acknowledge this pure act of terrorism by the United States that is backed up by Olaf Scholz of Germany. But go ahead, Niko. I'll pass to you.
I would say that the squad is doing what the squad does. I mean, I've been saying that forever, and I used to get attacked for that too. Yeah. Everybody just swore for some reason. I just was jealous of AOC. Like, yes, I'm jealous of the woman who's so insecure she dates a pasty white boy just for his money and clout, and then uses her congressional seat to make up for all of her shortcomings and insecurities because she isn't really popular. She's just only popular because of what they thought that she could do for her, and like she never did it. But that's a different conversation. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. But in reality, this is what I expect from them, and this is what I expect from the NATO left. You know why? Because Nick, you have to remember this is like maybe the second biggest story that Seymour Hersh dropped. In my opinion, the first biggest story was the fact that the United States was the ones responsible for transporting chemical weapons from Libya into Syria that eventually were used to frame Assad. And you know what they did? They pretend like that story never existed, even though it was an internationally acclaimed story. They blacked it out. CYT blacked it out. Every time it would get brought up in a debate, it gets blacked out. They pretend like, what? That doesn't. Seymour Hersh is like a science, bro. 100% accuracy. He's saying they bombed the pipeline. And then, once again, this for one of the, I don't know if it's guilty conscience or what, but once again, this is one of the few times that the U.S. actually kind of told the truth. They said, hey, man, it was some pro-Ukrainian forces. I mean, yeah, I guess. That makes sense. Yeah, you're right. It was y'all. Now there's going to be people. Now, I know that Seymour said that they spent 800 billion euros to curtail the impact, but they're still going to be impacted because they don't got the type of money we got where you just spend. Now, granted, we still have a crazy inflation, but like Europe's situation is a little bit different than ours. They're going to feel that money. So they didn't really save the money. It just was like a Band-Aid on a amputated arm, basically. The NATO left, they're complicit in terrorist attacks and murders and Nazism. It's that simple. It's really, truthfully, that simple. And by the way, Nick, I saw somebody ask for me to debate Jackson. Jackson has been hiding from me since he stole all my talking points and then started to call himself a communist MAGA because he sounds like a fucking idiot. And he's like, no, I'm just going to go over here and he's like the Jake fucking Paul and Logan Paul of politics. That's exactly who the fuck he is. He would never, ever, ever in his life debate me. I don't know if y'all noticed the white boys are scared of me. Like, they don't want to. Come on, guys. Nobody likes getting embarrassed by black guys. Just come on. But so that answers your question.
So I would love to see it. I'll host that shit. I don't get like that should be done.
Yeah, bro. Like, he knows where I'm at. The last time I talked to him, I told him I was gonna slap the fuck out of him if he ever mentioned my name again because he called me a Nazi on camera.
Yeah, definitely. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't play that. Like my thing is we can have our disagreements and we can have our differences, but there's a certain line you don't cross. Like where it's no longer political if you cross that line. And you ain't gonna fucking talk to like a lot of people that follow you only followed you because of me and my people and my team want to go speak at your fucking rally and boosted it, right? And I was the one who called Jimmy. It was the one who told Jimmy, yo, Jackson is the one who was really behind this rally, and he deserves his flowers for it. So if you can make sure to show him that love instead of being fucking ignoring him like he was getting ignored, like I was the one who did that. And for him, when somebody asked about me to go on there and say, oh no, Niko's a fucking neo-Nazi. He's a Nazi lover. Nah, I'll just smack the fuck out of you after that. Like that's where I'm at with that type of shit. Cause I don't know why everybody thinks like just because I'm in politics and I like did all this political work. Like, guys, I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Vietnam. For those of you, and I'm from Strickland Bridge Road, and if you know about Strickland Bridge Road, you know what we about. Like I don't give a shit.
Say all the time, man. I'm like, man, we had to hold back on here, but you guys can't say this shit to our face because this is. Anyway, go ahead, Niko, because I got temper. I got temper. Doesn't say that. Go ahead, Niko.
Yeah, bro. Like, I don't even got a temper. Like I just don't do that type of disrespect. Like I am a black man, and you were calling me a Nazi for not falling in line. And you're trying to destroy my career because Jackson knows and Jackson knew that I have a history that if you are full of shit, you can pretend to be on our side all you want to. Eventually, I and people from our team will call you the fuck out. Ask Jordan Sheridan. It will happen. Your career will take a hit and people will know you're full of shit. And Kasparian's career is still recovering. Not really. It's not doing a good job of recovering at all. But whatever. Like, and he knew that. And so he tried to go at me before I even said a single word to the man, specifically because, like, mind you, he attacked me for being friends with conservatives. And then he started a podcast with a fucking conservative.
So that must have been back when he was more of a AOC Bernie person, right?
He was.
A lot of people know. We knew Jackson for a while, and I'm gonna say this: his transformation has been something else. Let's just say that because a lot of people like us, we knew Jackson for a while. Just weird to see the direction he went. But
bro, he's professional lines. He's a professional line. Like he balances as many. He straddles the fence. He straddles the fence so he can draw in as many people as popular, so he can stay as popular. Like, bro, what the fuck is communist MAGA? The fact that anybody even thinks that sounds correct, like he is on Trump's dick, and he's supposedly an anti-imperialist. Now, if you're gonna ask me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Of course, Trump was somewhat markedly less anti-imperialist than Biden, but what does that mean? He was, his administration was also giving money to Nazis in Ukraine. They had to pass legislation for him to stop giving money to the Azov battalion in 2017.
Yeah.
He's not different. He was about to get his fucking people arrested again over this damn indictment. But Jackson likes to conveniently ignore it because Jackson's actually an idiot. If you ever listen to his analysis, is not good. Like, so there's that. Because he's running out of analysis to steal from. Because the people who are consistent, he stole from consistent and honest and morally ethical people that like Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy and you guys and us and Convo Couch and all these shows, but like we're still saying the same things. So now he has to come up with new grifts. And eventually, of course, it'll dry up, but like he's no longer in the business of addressing people one-on-one who are actually authentic because he knows where my DMs are. He could have debated. I tell people all the time, like, just bro,
this is a good promo for the debate. I'll say that because I'm down to debate anyone because that's what I say. I always say
saw that interview. He saw the debate between me and Ben Burgess. Probably saw a debate between me and Destiny. Who's all these little debate bros like that shit's cute, bro. But like, I do this for real. Yeah, I was a nationally acclaimed debater for real in real life, and I wasn't the best at that time because I was learning from people who were the best, but now they won't even. The people that were the best debaters in the world wouldn't ever step to me right now. And that's a fact.
I want to see it, man. I hope the Jackson community see this clip because that needs to happen. Because I always say I will never name drop, and that without willing to talk to someone. I think there's a lot of honestly bitch ass made motherfuckers in this space. There are people that would talk shit on me. I'm like, all right, let's talk it out. And they will never do it. Like, I would never mention someone if I'm not willing to debate them. That's why we had our criticism.
Bro, it's like, why would you mention? Y'all both got cameras. Y'all both got microphones. Y'all both got internet. And we both on Twitter. That's how I know you talking shit. So why are we talking on Twitter? Like, okay, let's talk it out. We can find a mutual. We can find a neutral party to host it, and we can talk. But like. And I quote respectfully, Jackson's a pussy. He would never. In fact, sorry, I didn't mean to insult pussies like that. Jackson's a bitch. Like he would never, ever like step in any type of ring with me on any type of disagreement. Because like, bro, the first thing he did was attack me for being conservative. And the moment that he saw an opportunity, he jumped on a show with a conservative. I didn't start a damn show with a conservative. I didn't pander to the right. They accuse me of pandering to the right because I wouldn't pander to Biden's crowd, because I wouldn't shut up about AOC, and I wouldn't stop criticizing Bernie for being a warmonger. They accuse me of being all right because me being an independent meant that I didn't fit into the caricature of leftism anymore. And that caricature of leftism is where they get their money from. That's how they bread their butter. And if I, the black man, am calling out all these people who are supposedly, pro civil rights, pro human rights, pro peace, if I'm calling them out and doing it in style and grace, might I add, like, then it must be a problem. And so they will try to snuff you out without ever addressing anything you actually say. That's why he didn't want to. He subtweeted me. He did not tag me. Don't get it. He talked about me on his show.
They do that to me a lot too. They also would screenshot my shit without tagging me. Like, these people are just bitch ass. I'm not talking about Jackson in general, but I'm not talking about Jackson because I don't want to accuse him.
Yeah, you're talking about just in general. Like the type of behavior. Yeah, like if I don't have a problem with you disagreeing, I don't care if you disagree with me vehemently. I have friends who disagree with me vehemently all the time. But those people they'll talk. They'll have a conversation with me publicly, and we'll both learn from it, and we'll both grow from it, and we'll both move on from there. But like when you do all this loud talking on Twitter and loud talking on your show, and then when somebody says, okay, cool, man, well, so you clearly know what you're talking about, and I know what I'm talking about, and we might have a disagreement. Let's talk about it so we can all grow and learn from the experience. When you dodging and ducking, that's because it was never about the truth. It was just about how your quote unquote truth can grow your audience. That's all that's about. Because I don't care. I mean, yeah, I'll care about growing my audience so I can inform them. But like if me debating somebody caused me to lose followers, then okay, and like I don't care about that. I mean, maybe it's because I don't lose debates, but I just genuinely don't care about it.
Yeah, that's why I take debates, because like if you as confident as I am and as you are in your beliefs, I feel like I can back it up. And if you take L, you take L. It is what it is. It's all about learning. That's why I don't understand these people like in the vanguard, like the big examples, like these pussies who talk shit. Like they're afraid to debate Jackson. Like these people talk shit and then they don't debate people. That's crazy. Is like the biggest bitch ass shit that's out here. It doesn't make like if you don't want to debate people, if you're afraid to defend your beliefs, shut the fuck up about people. It's just that simple. Cover basic news. Like that's what I would do.
Grift, right? Yeah. Because I ain't gonna lie. If I call you out on your grift by name, because I'm not afraid to debate you. I'll call. Hey, I'll don't give a damn who you are. Man, and I've challenged people respectfully. Like, and there's a way you can challenge somebody that you disagree with. There really is. I've done it plenty of times to friends that and either on my show or on their shows with them. Like, and we're still friends. But there's a difference between challenging somebody and grifting and smearing them because you're terrified of them. I don't have to smear a single soul, bro. There are people that I know shit about that y'all never know about. Like I know some shit about some people. Let me just say, like I said before, y'all, these white boys, all the girls that they be talking to, they talk a lot, man, and they're not loyal. They are not loyal. I got a lot of DMs, dog. Like it's. I know a lot of shit, but I'm like, that ain't got nothing to do with politics. Well, I'll talk about that.
Yeah,
I could drop bombs, bro. I don't do it because that has nothing to do with politics.
Same here.
I care about the lying about the issues. That's what I care about.
Trust me, I could too. Trust me, I could too. Trust me. I was on the Bernie campaign. I met so many people, man. I know some shit, but I don't.
It's not relevant. Oh my god,
it's not relevant. But Niko, we gotta do this more often, man. This is very fun, man. We just scratching the surface here. Once again, I highly recommend you bring CJ on too. If you guys talk about NBA, that'd be great. Make sure you guys check out Niko's new show. We gotta do this more. It's very fun, very fun. Niko,
like I said, if you go to my Twitter, if you go to my Twitter, I have all the hotspot links up there, and I also have my Telegram link. So if you subscribe to my Telegram, you'll get all the updates about shows. I actually go live and post on my Telegram also. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. Where we do some, I do a lot of fun stuff there too. But yeah, like when For the People podcast gets started, we come in for next, man. And for those of you who want to know where the name came from, I know it sounds obvious. It's For the People. My name actually is the male conjugated version of the Greek goddess Nike, and it's Greek for victory for the people. That's what my name means, and that's what the show is named after.
Yeah, what's up, my brother? Well, once again, this is extremely fun. I'm gonna pop you out, and we gotta do this again. Make sure you guys check out JB's conversation with Niko. Niko joined my
Oh, yeah,
brother
that's
JB Font as well. Great conversation. Man, I love that brother JB. That man has done so much reading. That man has done so much growth. I love seeing JB thrive.
I know. I
So
almost fought him. Talking about. So I don't know if I do enough, man.
yeah,
Boy,
I remember
shut your ass up.
right, right. Like I
Out
told
here
you,
every day, man. But like on the dialysis, scrolling and reading and researching. Come on, bro. Stop.
and I told this story before, but when I was in Seattle, I met this amazing gentleman who was disabled and queer, and he was like, "Man, tell JB thank you because like people like him out there doing the damn thing means a lot." And JB he learned a lot. You guys should follow the channel because he does a lot of reading. Like he's probably the most substantive person on YouTube, hands down. Like if you look at video per video, most substantive. But anyway, I love hype my boy JB up. I'll pop y'all, Niko. Thank you for your time once again, man.
Hey, also I just want to give a shout out to Rome again. I think he's still building a library. Go donate to that man so he can keep doing everything. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I need to find the cocaine that he's taking or something because this man never fucking stops. I don't know how he does it. Literally, I get exhausted looking at
bro.
Rome's
If you meet
Twitter.
him in real life, Niko, if you meet that man in real life,
JB said he's exactly like that in real life, bro.
It's the same thing, bro. This man does not stop. This boy have music on, this man like, all right, who we helping right now? Shit is real as fuck, guys. Shit is real as fuck.
And Savs, gotta give a shout out to Savs too, man. Shout out to
He's a
Savs.
superstar, man.
Been killing it. Like all y'all, man, all the art, y'all. I'm happy, man. I'm very proud of y'all, bro. Like I wish it was hyperbole, but it's not. Like when I came in, since I've come in, I've never seen Black voices en masse taken as seriously as they are right now, and that is largely because of the lane that y'all have been paving with RBN. So I appreciate on and off the camera because y'all know I preach about that. Like y'all did what y'all need to do as far as obviously getting educated and doing what you need, but a lot of like you yourself, you got popular from activism. Rome is entrenched in activism. All of y'all take what y'all see in the streets, tell people and so that they can do something about it. And that is what independent journalism should be. So keep doing it, man. Keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Much respect to you, Niko. I appreciate the kind words. And this is actually the kind of community we want to build. People who are serious about making change. Niko is one of those people as well. Once again, thank you, Niko. And if you enjoyed this conversation, hope you guys did. This is extremely fun. You guys see Niko House a lot on the RBN network. He was on JB, talked to Savvy quite a few times. Got to see more of that man. Got to see more of him. Also, Friday is going to be powerful. Garland Nixon joining Nick and CJ Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So I told you I came back from Seattle. Like we're bringing bangers. We bring Niko here. I mean, we bring Garland Nixon here. We had Andrew, Nick, bro. Let's go. You guys have to subscribe. You guys have to like. You guys got to support us, man. We're trying to do something good. We're trying to pay Erin as well, who's making all these thumbnails for us. You guys saw how my videos, my thumbnails suck. I can't do that shit. So thank God Erin here is for us. So make sure you guys support her. Link in the description. Love all you guys. Peace out.